Hello. Have you ever heard of Tuvalu? Well, if not, here's an interesting fact. Tuvalu has World War II ruins on all of its islands, from Niue to Funafuti and Fonafali.
Even though Tuvalu is a small remote country, it has beautiful scenery, culture, and vast history. Reporter Ben has been researching this small country and its culture, economics, and history for the past year, in the hopes to inform others about this beautiful country.
We will be giving you insight into Tuvalu's culture, history, and economics. First, we'll talk about the history of Tuvalu, then about the culture, and finally, I'll come back and talk about the economics of Tuvalu. I'm going to let my intern inform you about the history and culture.
Now, the history of Tuvalu. Tuvalu, formerly known as the Ellis Islands, is a Polynesian island located in the Pacific Ocean, midway between Hawaii and Australia. It is comprised by 4 reefs, islands, and 5 true atolls. Its population of 10,472 makes it the 3rd least populous sovereign state in the world, with only the Vatican City and Nauru having fewer inhabitants. According to the evidence of linguists, the language of Tuvalu and its settlement dates back 2,000 years. The island came under British spheres of influence back in the 19th century. And in 1974, the Ellis Islanders voted to separate from British dependency. And Tuvalu became fully independent within the Commonwealth back in 1978. Now I'm going to give you a brief testimony of a navigator, Alvaro Medina, that discovered Tuvalu back in 1568 while he was going on a expedition to Australia. He said, "Namu, we found it so small it was not more than 6 leagues in circumference. The island was very full of trees like palms towards the north, and it had a reef." Now I will talk to you about the culture of Tuvalu. The culture of the Tuvalu people, they traditionally have a community system which still survives to a large extent in Tuvalu. Each family has its own task or salanga to perform for the community, such as fishing, house building, or defense. Most of the islands on Tuvalu have their own fusi, or a government-owned shop. Another important building is the Flaka Puli, or village hall, which is very important, and that's where they discuss their matters. They go ahead and have the traditional food there. Is the pulaka, seafood, which consists of crab, turtle, and some fish, bananas and breadfruit, coconut, and pork. A traditional sport played in Tuvalu is the kilakiti, which is similar to cricket. Transport services in Tuvalu are limited. There are about 8 kilometers of roads, 1 airport, and everything usually is run through ferries from atoll to atoll.
Finally, we're going to be talking about the economics of Tuvalu. Tuvalu has almost no natural resources, and its main income consists of foreign aid. Virtually, the only jobs on the island that pay a steady wage or salary are from the government. The government revenue received in Tuvalu largely comes from the sale of stamps, coins, fishing licenses, and worker remittance. And substantial income is received annually from the Tuvalu Trust Fund, which was established in 1987 by Australia, New Zealand, and the UK. And that's also supported by Japan and South Korea. The U.S. government is also a major source for Tuvalu due to a 1988 treaty on fisheries, which was estimated at about $9 million. That total is estimated to rise annually. In 1998, Tuvalu began deriving revenue from the use of its area code for 900 lines and from the sale of its TV internet domain name. Because of the country's remoteness, tourism doesn't provide very much income. It's only estimated about 1,000 tourists visit Tuvalu every year. Subsistence farming and fishing remain to be the primary economic activities in Tuvalu, particularly off the capital island of Funafuti. Since there are little natural resources in Tuvalu on the three main islands, fishing is the biggest resource that the Tuvalu people have. Tuvalu is made up of atolls, and they have poor soil. The country has no mineral resources and few exports, and is almost entirely dependent upon imported fuel and food. Job opportunities in Tuvalu are scarce, and sector workers make up most of those people employed. About 15% of the adult male population work as seamen on merchant ships abroad. People also make a living through exploitation of the sea, reefs, and atolls, and from wages sent home by those abroad, mostly the workers in the phosphate industry and sailors.
In conclusion, we gave you an insight into Tuvalu's culture, history, and economics. Although it is one of the 4 smallest countries in the world, it is rich in history and culture, yet lacking in economics.
So, we have informed you of Tuvalu. We hope you enjoyed and learned a little something about this beautiful, beautiful country.
Thank you very much. See you later.
Bye.
Bye.